Hello, my dear children. Today, let us study the eighth chapter of your Civics. The name of the chapter is A Shirt in the Market. Children, you know what is a shirt? As everyone, we used to wear different shirt. So, this chapter is based on that a shirt in the market. This chapter tells us the story of a shirt. It begins with the production of cotton and ends with the sale of the shirt. Boys, this chapter it tells us the whole story of a shirt, okay? It is started from production of cotton and it finished with the sale of the shirt. We shall see that a chain of markets links the producer of cotton to the buyer of the shirt in the supermarket. Here we shall see that a chain of markets links right from producing cotton to the buyer of shirt in the supermarket. Buying and selling takes place at every step in the chain. So, to purchase, buying means to purchase and to sell. It takes place at every step in the chain. Does everyone benefit equally from this? Or do some people benefit more than others? We shall find out. So, in the transaction of buying and selling, we find boys here. It asks that does everyone benefit equally after selling the shirt? Or do some people benefit more than others? Or do some people they earn more than others? We shall find out. Okay, here we are going to find out that. A cotton farmer in Kurnool, boys, Kurnool is a city of Andhra Pradesh. So let us see a cotton farmer, okay, a farmer who used to collect cotton in Kurnool. Swapna, a small farmer in Kurnool, grows cotton on her small piece of land. See, Swapna, she's a small a farmer in Kurnool of Andhra Pradesh, where she grows cotton on her small piece of land. The bolls of the cotton plant are ripe and some have already burst. So Swapna is busy picking cotton. So the bolls of the cotton, okay, cotton is it ripened here, okay. So what happened? The bolls of the cotton plant are ripe and some of them, okay, have already burst. When generally cotton they rip, the balls used to burst. So Swapna is busy picking cotton. So here we find Swapna, she is busy for picking cotton. The balls which carry the cotton in them do not burst open all at once. So it takes several days to harvest the cotton. So the boys generally which carry the cotton in them, they do not burst all at a time. Okay, burst open all at once. It takes several days. Okay, to harvest the cotton. After burst of the cotton, a harvester used to harvest the cotton. Okay, harvest means gather crop, gather that cotton crop. Once the cotton is collected, instead of selling it at Kurnool cotton market, Swapna and her husband take the harvest to the local trader. So once the cotton is collected, as in when cotton plucked and collected, so in place of selling it at Kurnool cotton market, Swapna and her husband, both of them, they used to take the harvested cotton to the local trader, local businessman, to the local businessman, they used to carry them. At the beginning of the cropping season, Swapna had borrowed rupees 2,500 from the trader at a very high interest rate to buy seeds, fertilizers, pesticides for cultivation. So, at the beginning of the cropping season, so before cropping that cotton, Supna had borrowed rupees 2,500 from the trader. Okay, the trader, that means local trader who is there. From that trader, Swapna, she took 2,500 rupees, okay, as interest, in interest, okay, 2,500 in interest. She took the money in order to manage her cultivation, okay. So with that amount, she purchased seeds of cotton, fertilizers, pesticides. Pesticides means, boys, these are chemicals which are used to kill pests from the crops. So, in order to purchase seeds, fertilizers, pesticides for cultivation, she used to take money, or she, that means herself, she borrowed money from the local trader. Okay, it was 2,500 rupees which took by Swapna in interest. At the time, the local trader made Swapna agree to another condition. He made her promise to sell all her cotton to him. So the time when trader has given money to Swapna in interest. Meanwhile, the local trader made Swapna agree another condition. So the local trader, he made Swapna to agree in order to sell all the products to him only, okay? He made her promise to sell all her cotton to him only, okay? Cultivation of cotton requires high levels of inputs such as fertilizers and pesticides, and the farmers have to incur heavy expenses on account of this. So, in order to cultivate cotton, it requires high levels of inputs. Inputs such as fertilizers means what are required for growing that crops. So, these are such as fertilizers and pesticides, and the farmers have to Incur means attract or perfect, okay? Heavy expenses on account of these. So here farmers need what? Very heavy expenses in order to produce this cotton. Most often, the small farmers need to borrow money to meet these expenses. Generally, farmers are poor, so it seems always the small farmers they need to borrow money. Yes, they are poor, they do not have much money, so they need to borrow money in order to fulfill these expenses, whatever expenditure it requires in order to grow crops. So a farmer need to borrow money from a trader. At the trader's yard, two of his men weigh the bags of cotton. So here the traders means businessman, okay. At his yard, two of his men they weigh the bags of cotton, means they measure the bags of cotton at a price of rupees 1500 per quintal. The cotton fetches rupees 6000. See here what we find at a price of rupees 1500 per quintal. The trader used to sell them. The cotton fetches means whatever cotton was collected here. So its cost price, its selling price, it fetches rupees 6000. The trader deducts rupees 3000 for repayment of loan and interest and pays Supna rupees 3000. Oh, see here was what happened here. As Supna brought that cotton, okay. Uh, so the rate the traders fixed that 1500 per quintal, and as Supna brought that cotton, it fetches rupees 6000. Okay, the trader deducts rupees 3000. Traders he deducted rupees 3000 for payment of loan and interest. It is because of the 3000 Swapna she already took money before growing that cotton on interest. So for that trader she subtracted or deducts rupees 3000 for repayment 3000 for repayment of loan and interest and pays Swapna the remaining rupees 3000. Swapna rupees 3000 only. Now Swapna is asking rupees 3000 only. Trader, cotton is selling cheap. There is a lot of cotton in the market. Traders, the response that means traders said, cotton is selling cheap nowadays. Cotton is very cheap. It is because of there is a lot of cotton in the market. So this is the technique of traders, okay, businessmen. Swapna, I have toiled so hard for 4 months to grow this cotton. You can see how fine and clean the cotton is this time. I had hoped to get a much better price. Swapna said. What she said here? She had toiled so hard. Okay, so she worked with the difficulties so hard for 4 months in order to grow this cotton. She faced difficulty for 4 months in order to grow this cotton crop, and you can see how fine and clean the cotton is this time. Moreover, she point out how fine, what a good quality cotton is that, and this clean cotton this time. That means the time when she was showing that I had hoped to get a much better price. So she hoped she will earn better price. Trader, Amma, I am giving you a good price. Other traders are not even paying this much. You can check at the Cornwall market if you do not believe me. So the trader said, Amma, see, I am giving you a good price. He's telling that means he's giving a good price to Swapna. Other traders are not even paying this much. You can check at the Cornwall market. She can check in the Cornwall market of Andhra Pradesh if you do not believe me. So the traders is telling that means he's giving good price to Swapna. If she has any doubt, she can check in the market. Swapna, don't be angry. How can I doubt you? I had only hoped that we would earn enough from the cotton crop to last us a few months. So Swapna said to the trader, don't be angry. How can she doubt to the trader? She had only hope. She thought that they would earn much from the cotton crop to last them a few months. Though Swapna knows that cotton will sell for at least rupees 1,800 per quintal, she doesn't argue further. Though Swapna she knows the cotton will sell for at least rupees 1,800 per quintal, she does not argue further. She does not say anything more, dear. The trader is a powerful man in the village, and the farmers have to depend on him for loans, not only for cultivation but also to meet other exigencies such as illness, children's school fees. Also, there are times in the year when there is no work and no income for the farmers, so borrowing money is the only means of survival. So, though Sapna knows that cotton will sell for at least rupees 1,800 per quintal, she doesn't argue further. She doesn't, that means, say anything more. The trader is a powerful man. That businessman, he was a powerful man of that village, okay? And the farmers, all the farmers have to depend on the trader for taking loans, not only for cultivation, okay, but also in order to fulfill other urgent need, okay, or demand, that is called exigencies, okay. Other when, as in when farmers they need money and urgent at the time they used to borrow money from the trader, exigencies such as illness, children's school fee, okay, at a time when the farmer they need to pay fees for school, or when anyone falls sick at the time they need to borrow money from the trader. Also, there are times in the year when there is no work and no income for the farmer. So, also there are times in the year when these people, this poor farmer, okay, for them there is no work and no income for them. So, borrowing money is the only means of survival. So, to borrow money from the trader, it was the only means in order to sustain their life, in order to remain alive. Swapna's earning from cotton cultivation is barely more than what she might have earned as a wage laborer. So, Swapna's earning from that cotton cultivation was hardly more than what she might have earned as a wage laborer. As that means, uh, wage means salary, okay, laborer. Sorry. The cloth market of Erode. Here, let us see the cloth market of Erode means the cloth market of weekly cloth market. Let us see. Okay. Of that Erode. It is the weekly market was. Erode's bi-weekly cloth market in Tamil Nadu is one of the largest cloth markets in the world. So, boys, you see, Erode's it is bi-weekly cloth market in Tamil Nadu. It is one of the largest cloth markets in the world. A large variety of cotton is sold in this market. So, in that market, in that weekly market, boys, different types of clothes, okay, is sold there. Cloth that is made by weavers in the villages around is also brought here for sale. So, cloth which is made by weavers in the villages around, it is also brought here for selling. Around the market are offices of cloth merchants who buy this cloth. So, at the nearby or surrounded area was of that market, there are offices of cloth merchants. Okay, cloth businessmen are there who set offices here. They used to purchase this cloth. Other traders from many South Indian towns also come and purchase cloth in this market. So, other businessmen from many South Indian towns, they also used to come and purchase cloth in this weekly market. On market days, you would also find weavers bringing cloth that has been made on order from the merchant. So, on market days, here you would also find these weavers. Weavers means those who are weaving clothes, those who are making clothes. They are bringing cloth which has been made on order from the merchant. Okay, these are the demand from the merchant. These merchants supply cloth on order to garment manufacturers and exporters around the country. So these merchants, boys, they used to supply cloth on order to garment. Garment means an item of clothing that is called garment. Manufacturers, okay. Garment, cloth manufacturers and exporters around the country. They purchase the yarn and give instructions to the weavers about the kind of cloth that is to be made. The, they used to purchase those clothes, okay, and they used to give instructions to the weavers about the kind of cloth that is to be made, which type of clothes they want, okay, qualities and colors, everything. They used to tell them, they used to give instructions to the weavers, okay. In the following example, we can see how this is done. So here's some example it has given was. So from this example, we can see how this coloring, okay, or different works it used to do, which is related to cloth. Putting out system, weavers producing cloth at home. The merchant distributes work among the weavers based on the orders he has received for cloth. So the merchant, okay, used to distribute work among the weavers, which is based on the orders he has received for cloth, which you need to supply to the people, okay, according to that demand. The merchant distributes work among those weavers. The weavers get the yarn from the merchant and supply him the cloth. So the weavers, they used to get the yarn. Yarn means that spun thread used for knitting, weaving, or sewing. Okay. So from the merchant and supply him the cloth. Okay. They used to get this yarn, the thread. Okay, from the merchant and used to supply him the cloth. For the weavers, this arrangement seemingly has two advantages. So, for those weavers to arrange this yarn, it seemingly means apparently has two benefits. Okay, advantages means benefits. The weavers do not have to spend their money on purchase of yarn. Here, weavers they need not have to spend their money in order to purchase yarn for weaving. Also, the problem of selling the finished cloth is taken care of. Also, if somebody demanded that, so there is no question, okay, where to sell, how to sell. So, the weavers do not have to spend their money also on purchase of yarn. Also, the problem of selling the finished cloth is taken care of. Also, by the way, you see, whatever products it is ready for selling, okay, there is no problem for that in order to sell. Weavers know from the outset what cloth they should make and how much of it is to be woven. Weavers, they have the idea, okay, they know from the outset what cloth they should make and how much of it is to be woven, how much that means they should make. They know this. However, this independence on the merchants, both for raw materials and markets, means that the merchants have a lot of power. So anyhow, this dependence to depend for this cloth on the merchants, both for raw materials, materials which is required for making cloth, and markets, means that the merchants have a lot of power. They give orders for what is to be made and they pay a very low price for making the cloth. So this, you see boys, these merchants give orders for what is to be made and they used to pay a very low price for making those clothes. See to the right margin, okay, some sentences it has given. You just get through this. You must read it, boys. The weavers have no way of knowing who they are making the cloth for or at what price it will be sold. Here, boys, weaver, okay, they have no way in order to know who they are making the cloth for or at what price it will be sold. At the cloth market, the merchants sell the cloth to the garment factories. So at the cloth market, boys, the merchants that were businessmen used to sell the cloth to the garment factories. Okay, garment factories means it is an item of clothing factories. Okay. In this way, the market works more in favor of the merchants. So in this way, the market it works more, which is in favor of the merchants. Weavers invest all their savings or borrow money at high interest rates to buy looms. Weavers they used to invest, okay, all their savings, whatever that means, savings they made. So they used to invest that amount or borrow money at high interest rates to in order to purchase looms, in order to purchase that looms for making cloths. Each loom cost rupees 20,000. So a small weaver with two looms has to invest rupees 40,000. Okay. With the help of these looms, they used to make cloth. So it says here, each loom cost rupees 20,000. So a small weaver with two loom has to invest rupees 40,000. A small weaver need to spend this amount. The work on these looms cannot be done alone. Okay. The work that means which are needed to do in this loom, it cannot be done by a single person. The weaver and another adult member of his family work up to 12 hours a day to produce cloth. So the weaver as well as another adult member means fully grown member, another person of his family, they used to work up to 12 hours a day in order to produce cloth. For all this work, they earn about rupees 3,500 per month. So whatever work it has mentioned above, in order to complete all this work, they earn about rupees 3,500 in a month. The arrangement between the merchant and the weavers is an example of putting out system whereby the merchant supplies the raw material and receives the finished product. It is prevalent in the weaving industry in most regions of India. The arrangement which is in between the merchant and the weavers, it is an example of putting out system. So, whereby the merchant they used to supply the raw material and receives the finished product. After that means supplying that raw material for making cloths, they receive the product which is ready. It is prevalent. Prevalent means what is spread in the weaving industry in most part of India. So here was Weavers Cooperative. This part of the chapter you just get through this. Okay, you read it. The garment exporting factory near Delhi. Now let us see the garment exporting factory which is near Delhi. The Erode merchant supplies the cotton cloth produced by the weavers to the garment exporting factory near Delhi. So the Erode merchant means gradually we are away. They used to supply the cotton cloth. You see here, actually Erode, the merchant of that Erode, they used to supply what? The cotton cloth which is produced by the weavers to a garment exporting factory near Delhi. The garment exporting factory will use the cloth to make shirt. Okay, the garment exporting factory, they will use the cloth in order to make shirts. The shirts will be exported to foreign buyers. It will send to foreign buyers. Okay, foreigners, those who purchase it, they are known as foreign buyers. Among the foreign buyers are business persons from the US and Europe who run a chain of stores. So among those foreign buyers are business persons. They used to deal, okay, in the business from they are from US and Europe who run a chain of stores. Okay, stores. These large stores do business strictly on their own terms. They demand the lowest prices from the supplier. They used to purchase it. Okay, they demand the lowest prices from the supplier. In addition, they set high standards for quality of production and timely delivery. So apart from that, they set high standards. Okay, uh, high standards means a level of quality for this quality of production and timely delivery. Any defects or delay in delivery is dealt with strictly. So the exporter tries his best to meet the conditions set by these powerful buyers. So the person who is exporting or sending outside these commodities, that cloth or shirt, that tries, okay, or he tries his best in order to meet the conditions set by these powerful buyers from foreign countries. Faced with such pressures from the buyers, the garment exporting factories in turn try to cut costs. Okay, faced with such pressures from the buyers, here the garment exporting factories, they try to cut costs, less amount they used to pay it. They get the maximum work out of the workers or the lowest possible wages. This way they can maximize their own profits and also supply the garments to foreign buyers at a cheap price. So see here the transaction here they get by these merchants maximum work out of the workers which is at the lowest possible wages. Okay, this way they can maximize, make as large of great as possible their own profits and also supply the garments to foreign buyers at a cheap price, at a low price. Okay, cheap price means low price. The Impex garment factory has 70 workers. Uh, Impex garment factory was which deal with the clothing industry. Okay, like yarns, then pants, etc. Or like that means any other jeans, pants, etc. So this Impex garment factory, it has 70 workers. Most of them are women. So the worker of that factory, mostly they are women. Most of these workers are employed on a temporary basis. Temporary basis, that not means giving wages regularly, okay, which is known as temporary basis. This means that whenever the employer feels that a worker is not needed, the worker can be asked to leave. Temporary basis means, boys, here it means that whenever the employer feels that a worker is not necessary, the worker can be asked to leave, okay. Workers' wages are fixed according to their skills. The highest paid among the workers are the tailors, who get about rupees 3,000 per month. So workers' boys' wages are also fixed according to their skill. According to that means work in which they are expert. The highest paid among the workers are the tailors. Okay, they are paying highest wages for amount to the tailors only here, who get about rupees 3,000 per month. Women are employed as helpers for thread cutting, buttoning, then ironing and packaging. Women, they are employed as a helpers, okay, for cutting thread and for fasten with buttons or to iron and packaging clothes. These jobs have the lowest wages, so these jobs it have the lowest salary. Okay, see here, payment to workers per month, it has mentioned. You just get through this. The shirt in the United States. A number of shirts are on display at a large cloth shop in the United States and are priced at $26. That is, each shirt sells for $26 or around rupees 1,800. Then use the diagram shown in the margin to fill in the blanks below. You need to fill in the blanks which is given here under boys. So here you use the diagram which is shown in the margin in order to complete this fill up, okay. So you do it yourself. The garment exporter sold the shirt at rupees 300 per piece. The cloth and other raw materials cost him rupees 100 per shirt. The workers' wages cost another rupees 25 per shirt. See, the garment exporter sold the shirt at rupees 300 for one shirt. The cloth and other raw materials which cost him rupees 100 for one shirt. The workers' wages cost another rupees 25 for each shirt. the cost of running his office came to rupees 25 per shirt. Can you calculate the profit per shirt for the garment exporter? You can calculate it easily, okay. So, you practice this one also. Who are the gainers in the market? So, in the transaction of say purchasing and selling these commodities, who are the gainers in the market? Now, let us see. A chain of markets links the producer of cotton to the buyer at the supermarket. Buying and selling takes place at every step in the chain. So, a chain of markets, we can see it links the producer of cotton to the buyer at the supermarket, where buying and selling takes place at every step in the chain. Okay, in the chain we find buying and selling it takes place. Let us recall who were the people who were involved in this process of buying and selling. Let us recall or review. Okay, who were the people? Okay, they involved in this process of buying and selling. Did they all gain as much? There were people who made profits in the market, and there were some who did not gain as much from this buying and selling. So, there were people, boys, who made profits in the market, and there were some who did not gain as much from this buying and selling. Despite their having toiled very hard, they earned little, though they worked very hard, okay, in the transaction, but they earn little. They earn little means they earn less. Can you place them in the table shown here? You just, that means, see here, you can do it yourself, I think, okay. So, you can place them in table shown here. Market and equality. The foreign business person made huge profits in the market. Also, business person from foreign, they made huge profits. They get more profit here in the market. Compared to this, the garment exporter made only moderate profits. So, in order to compare this, the garment exporter made only moderate profits, which is not very high, not very low also. On the other hand, the earnings of the workers at the garment export factory are barely enough to cover their day-to-day needs. So, by the way, the earnings of the workers, those who worked at the garment export factory, are almost not, barely means very hard, okay, almost, which is equal almost not enough to cover their day-to-day needs. Similarly, we show the small cotton farmer and the weaver at Erode put in long hours of hard work. In the same manner, boys, we show what the small cotton farmer and the weaver at Erode, they put in long hours of hard work in order to produce that finished product. But they did not get a fair price in the market for what they produced. But this poor farmer, they did not get the price which they should get, okay, for what they produced. The merchants or traders are somewhere in between. Compared to the weavers, they have earned more, but it is still much less than the exporter. So, the merchants and the traders, okay, are somewhere in between. Compared to the weavers, they have earned more, but it is still much less than the exporter. Thus, not everyone gains equally in the market. Thus, not everyone gains equally in the market. Democracy is also about getting a fair wage in the market. So, in this way, not everyone they gains equally in the market. So, democracy was is a form of government, okay. Uh, it is also about getting a fair wage in the market. Whether it is Kanta or Swapna, if families don't earn enough, how would they think of themselves as equal to others? So, whether it is say Kanta or Swapna, if families don't earn enough, how would they think of themselves as equal to others? On one hand, the market offers people opportunities for work and to be able to sell these things that they grow or produce. So, on one side, the market offers people chances for work and to be able to sell things which they produce that they grow or produce. It could be the farmer selling cotton or the weaver producing cloth. Okay, maybe it could be the farmer selling cotton or the weaver who produce clothes. On the other hand, it is usually the rich and the powerful that get the maximum earnings from the market. By the way, you see, the other hand means, by the way, it is usually the rich and the powerful who get the maximum earnings from the market. These are the people who have money and own the factories, the large shops, large land holdings, etc. So, they are the people who have money and who have the factories, large shops, large land holdings, etc. They have large land, okay, an area of land held by this like that, okay, holdings, those who are having vast areas. The poor have to depend on the rich and the powerful for various things. Here, the poor, they need to depend on the rich people and the powerful for different things. They have to depend for loans, as in the case of Supna, the small farmer, for raw materials and marketing of their goods, that is weavers in the putting out system, and most often for employment, that is workers at the garment factory. So here they have to depend for these different purposes, okay, for loans, okay, for raw materials and marketing of their goods, and most often for employment like that, okay. Because of this dependence, the poor are exploited in the market as they need to depend on others. That's why the poor are exploited here. Okay, the poor are make full use of and derive benefit by other. Okay, in the market, there are ways to overcome this, such as forming cooperatives or producers and ensuring that laws are followed strictly. So, there are ways, there are chances, okay, in order to overcome this problem. Okay, how can we overcome it? This such as by forming cooperatives of producers and ensuring that laws are followed strictly. In the last chapter, we will read about how one such fish workers cooperative was started on the Tawa River. Okay, so the last chapter, boys, we will read about how one such fish workers, okay, cooperative was started on the Tawa River. So here is the end of the chapter. Thank you all.